This is a cliff. For those of us who live in the southern part of the United States, it's difficult to find a cliff. Up north, you got cliffs everywhere, right? Because it's just common. Now, in those cliffs, I did not go and grab things out of there because I'm liable to get shot by somebody. You got to be careful what you do here. And state parks, they don't want you to mess with that either. But I will tell you about this one. Isn't that exciting?
Yeah.
I would guesstimate that this is probably worth about $1,000. And it's nothing but a stupid, dirty rock, right?
No.
Oh, okay. That's got an interesting story. Quite a few number of years ago, I was driving through southern Broward County, and my parents and I were in the car, and we saw them digging this rock pit. And I yelled at my dad, "Stop the car!" And I got out and looked at it, and the side of the rock pit was all of this stuff.
Cool.
Now, it should be coral, but I took it back and had it checked by a professor at the University of Miami, and it is petrified wood. It's a mangrove root, which is extremely rare. And I was, at the time, working at a local museum, and we contacted those people who need to know about it, and they came down and they closed the rock pit. They wouldn't let the guys get any more dirt out of the rock pit until they got all these out of there, because it was a very important discovery. But you see someone take a look at this, you know what I really thought it could be when I saw this? Wouldn't it be neat if that was from a Spanish ship and this was a cross crusted in coral? It'd be worth millions, but no, it's just a dirty old tree root. But it's still worth something. Now, this brings me up to the rock that everybody likes to buy. Put it over there. Everybody likes to buy. You ever heard the word petrified wood? Petrified wood. That's it. I like this one because this one makes a noise. It still has some bark on it. Get it? Bark? Arf, arf. Okay. Yeah. Most people, when they buy petrified wood, it comes in beautiful colors. And that sells more. Tourists like to buy that. But I like this one because it does have the bark, and you can see the grain of wood. Now, one thing about plants, as I told you, they do not survive, and they get squished. That petrified wood looks like a piece of wood, but it is pure, solid rock. And the reason that it looks the way it does is because, I don't mean to be silly, but right across the highway is a place called the Painted Desert. So you can actually visit 2 national parks. Painted Desert on the right side going west on Interstate 10, and the petrified forest, dead trees laying all over the place on the left side. And they're so mean, because when you get ready to leave that national park, petrified forest, they make you open the trunk of the car, and they make sure you're not carrying out petrified wood. It's $5,000 fine and 5 years in jail. Both. So they make sure you're not carrying it out. So you know what I always tell the kids?
What?
Go to a national park. Don't touch nothing. Then as you leave the park and you see the sign that says, "You are now leaving," go past the sign, stop, and then go out and look for the rocks. You're outside the national park. The rocks are going to be the same. Because, you know, things don't change too quickly. They do that sometimes. But anyway, this is where you can pick up this kind of stuff. Because most people don't want this one because it has no real classy colors to it. All right, on the first program you said you'd never been to Jurassic Park. You didn't see the movie. This came from Haiti. A friend of mine was designing a hotel lobby, and he sent that to me. And these are found in the Dominican Republic and Haiti, and I've got to find somebody to go down there and bring some more for me. This one I purchased at a shopping mall, and I hope to get some in from another country soon. And those shopping malls sell that. It's called amber.
Amber?
Yeah, that's not the name of a girl who lives down the street now. No. Amber is tree sap. See, when you ever hit a tree, it bleeds. You know, the sap comes out, the gooey, sticky stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, a long time ago, that would be like, this should be sometimes like right after the flood, because these are broadleaf hardwood trees. But anyway, when the tree got hurt and fell over, the sap came out. And so when the tree became petrified, so did the tree sap. And this one here, that little bitty piece there, that's worth $35. What a ripoff, huh? And the reason it's so expensive is because it's got a dead bug in it. Say, oh.
Oh.
Ooh. Oh. See, when the bug was going down the tree, the sap came down and caught the animal and trapped him, and now he's inside the ember. See it in there? Isn't that awesome?
Yes.
Yes.
Actually.
You can actually say, oh, actually. You're not going to become a rock collector after you get done doing this, right?
Maybe.
Oh, well, since you want to be an artist, at least collect the pretty rocks. Okay? You should have been here when I did my rocks and minerals because you would have seen real diamonds and rubies and sapphires and emeralds still in the rock. You could have picked them out. Never mind. Okay. Isn't he cute? Here, you want to hold one in your hand? You'll hold it until I tell you what it is, and you'll probably put it down. This is a dead worm. Just put it down. Well, it's not quite that bad. That's the outside. This is a sea worm. In other words, he lived in the ocean, and he made this little house. And if I turn that, you might be able to see a little hole in the end. I really don't know. But there he is. We can find these today on the beaches. That's a worm that lived in there and made its own little house. Okay? Who cares? Well, it's a fossil. I'm going to show you now. You ready? You leave that one there. I'm going to show you the same animal that lived before the flood.
Okay. What's that?
Same thing. Let's put it down
Bigger,
there.
right?
Oh, mucho bigger, as they say in some parts of the country. And let's just lay this up here. Let the folks at home see the difference. Look at, quite a bit different, isn't it? We'll rotate that a little bit. Now let's go this way. See, there it is. The whole long casing. Now there's quite a few different varieties of these. It's not the only kind there is. But the point is that it has shrunk in size. You know, we don't have any dinosaurs today for who knows whatever reasons. We don't have any really big animals anymore. All the big animals that we have left are actually few in number. But the point is that before the flood, things were quite large. There was abundance of plants. And before the flood, do you know that there was no parking lots?
No.
Because there was no cars before the flood. Okay. That meant there was very few people on the earth. And therefore, the animals and the plants had a wonderful time. And then man came in, and what did he do? He started cutting trees down, killing the animals, and all that. Do you know there's a national park called Yellowstone? They have so many animals up there once upon a time that the animals were eating all the plants and killing the park. So they went up to Canada, captured some wild wolves, shipped them in and let them loose in Yellowstone, and now they're killing the animals off, and now the trees and plants are coming back. Isn't that silly? What man does sometimes to keep things going. Look at this one. Isn't that exciting? No, take a look at it. Look at it.
Oh, neat.
Look at the bottom. Okay, show the folks at home. This is something you have on your two legs. What do you have on your two legs? You got two kneecaps. That's a cypress knee. That's a solid rock. Let me see if I can stay right there with it. See? Solid rock. That cypress knee was a living plant. It's now, does it look like wood to you? Looks pretty good,
Yes.
right? Okay. But it doesn't peel like wood, does it?
No.
It's definitely rock, right? We don't have field of vision. People can't feel yet on television. So that is a piece of wood that came out of the water. You see, cypress trees like to live in the water. And when they live in the water, they can't breathe too well. The roots can drown. And so what the tree does, it sticks its roots up. And that's how it stays alive. Who cares, huh? But that's another way you get a fossil. How many people do you know has a fossilized cypress knee? Me, huh? That's
Yeah.
it. Well, you see, that's what you do about fossils. You go on collecting some real neat looking things. Now, what we're going to do on the number 3 program is let's look at our chart. I want to talk about now some animals that used to walk on the earth. We had a nice big old kitty cat. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. This kitty cat is called the saber-toothed tiger. You ever heard that one?
Yep.
Oh, wow. You finally heard of something. Not bad for a 5th grader. Just pull the card. Just pop it. Yeah. All right. Here we have, don't worry about that. We have a giant ground sloth. Pull the next one. That's not important. We're going to get back to and the panther and all that. And they ate other animals. And so when they ripped them and tore them all apart, a leg would go one way, the head would go another way. And you know, that's really rough for fossil hunters. How can you expect to find anything when some tiger or somebody took it on and dragged it off? But for those of you out in California, downtown Los Angeles, it stinks. Don't mean to be rude, but they have a tar pit. Real natural tar, hot and bubbly. And the poor little animals thought it was a lake to drink water, and they fell in and got sucked like a quicksand and got killed in there. And as the animals sank very slowly, other animals who wanted to eat them jumped in after it, and he went down with them. They all sank together. So many years ago, they started pulling these animal bones out of the tar pit.
Because somebody died.
Yeah, and they got the whole animal. Isn't that nice? See, the whole animal died, nobody could eat it, so they were able to bring up the whole animal. In Florida, they'll find maybe a piece of this and a piece of that, and that's all they can find. So it depends on where you live, what you can pick up, okay? Like out in Utah, Dinosaur National Monument, National Park, this whole side of the hill has been scraped away, and you can see dinosaurs all over the wall. Absolutely spectacular. So we hope that you have gotten some interest on these first two. Start your collection of fossils, and where do you look? In your backyard.
Yep.
So you need to start looking in your backyard. Start with something small, seashell, then put two seashells together, or you can find one piece of wood that's colorful, a little bitty animal, maybe you can find the bigger animal, you never know what. So the idea then is, let's think about starting a fossil rock collection.